What if everything you knew about alien life was wrong? What if first contact didn't begin with governments, scientists, or warships, but with one man, standing alone on a distant world? Unarmed, unprepared, and utterly unqualified for what came next? This is not the story the news would tell you. It's not neat. It's not clean. And it's definitely not safe. But it's real. Tonight on Galactic Conundrums, we're peeling back the veil between worlds, where diplomacy turns to desire, and science gives birth to something unthinkable. Before we open the hatch and step into the unknown, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, because trust us, what's coming next, you'll want to talk about it. Let's begin. In the outer curve of the Cygnus Arm, far beyond the dusty moons of Jupiter and the existential crisis of Pluto, there exists a planet named Zorth Prime. It has 3 suns, glowing trees, breathable air, and, apparently, a serious attitude problem. EXT Zorth Prime, sky above planet, day, well, triple sun. The descent module, shaped like a metallic almond with stubby wings, cuts through the atmosphere. Flames ripple along the outer shell, but inside. Dr. Elias Raynor, mid-30s, sits stiffly, watching the alien surface approach. AI assistant, calm, overly polite. Atmosphere, 21% oxygen. Terrain, 68% semi-organic. Emotional terrain, uncertain. Elias wipes his palms on his jumpsuit. He's wearing the official Earth diplomatic uniform, which basically looks like a hybrid between a business suit and a Starfleet cosplay gone wrong. Elias murmurs, "Okay. Breathe. You trained for this. No matter what happens, do not let them smell fear. AI. You're secreting cortisol. That is fear." The module touches down softly on glowing violet grass. The ramp unfolds with a whoosh and a puff of glittery vapor. Elias steps out, blinking against the surreal sunlight. EXT Zorth Prime, alien clearing, continuous. The sky above is a soft gold, like honey spread across silk. 3 suns float overhead, one pale white, one burnished copper, one flickering slightly like a broken bulb. The surrounding jungle is alive. Not metaphorically. Literally. The trees hum. The flowers blink. Something purplish giggles and hides behind a glowing fern. Elias walks slowly, arms out. Elias, speaking loudly, carefully. "Greetings. I am Dr. Elias Raynor. I come in peace, representing Earth and..." Rustling. The bushes ahead shift. 4 figures emerge like a scene from a sci-fi perfume ad. The first to step forward is Kalis, silver-haired, eyes like ultraviolet lightning. She stares at Elias like she just discovered mold on her crystal ware. Behind her are Zyra, who's chewing gum that emits smoke, her hair like someone electrocuted a jellyfish. Virel, cloaked in dark flowing silk, with facial tattoos pulsing softly like Wi-Fi signals. Thalen, tall, calm, barefoot on glowing moss, who blinks once every 30 seconds. They stop in formation, a synchronized SAS squad. Kalis tilts her head. Kalis, through translator, British accent because of course. What in the infinite spirals of Orion is that? Zyra. It's pink. Is it edible? Virel, flat. Definitely not. Too soft? Might spoil in a sundae. Elias stands frozen. He tries a nervous smile. Elias. Hi. Yes. Human. From Earth. Here on peaceful diplomatic. Thalen. Did the mud planet send just one? Kalis walks in a slow circle around him, like she's considering adopting a pet she's mildly allergic to. Kalis. So. This is the best your species could offer? You're smaller than I imagined. No armor. No wings. And that thing on your face. Elias, touching his nose. This is my nose. Zyra, laughing. He smells with his face. That's hilarious. Can we keep him? I want to program him to dance. Elias inhales. Calm, he tells himself. Cultural differences. He reaches into his satchel and activates a small orb, which floats and projects a hologram of Earth blue, green, spinning slowly in midair. Elias. This is my world. We call it Earth. We've studied your system for years and hope to open dialogue, share knowledge. Virel. That's your planet? Looks damp. And overpopulated. Kalis, sighs. All right, Earth thing. If you're here to share, then start impressing us. We love a good sideshow. Narrator, dry, sardonic tone. And thus, Dr. Elias Raynor, Ph.D. in astrobiology, minor in interspecies diplomacy, and full-time nervous sweater, officially became the first human to be verbally roasted on an alien planet. The mission? Still technically going fine. His pride? Less so. After surviving the roast session from 4 alien goddesses with 0 chill, Dr. Elias Raynor had 2 options. A. Run back to his ship crying. B. Impress the aliens with science, charm, and possibly cheekbones. He chose option B barely. Alien city outskirts, twilight. The forest opens up to reveal the edge of a Zaydan city, or what looks like a sculptured garden designed by a fever-dreaming jellyfish. The architecture is all liquid crystal curves, like the buildings are breathing. There are no doors. Everything shimmers, pulses, or occasionally hums in perfect A-flat. Kalis walks ahead, her silver cloak trailing behind her like magnetic silk. Kalis, to Elias, still skeptical. Let's see if your species has more to offer than weird face parts and holograms. Elias, trying to keep up. We also have jazz and indoor plumbing. That's pretty huge. Zyra snorts. Zyra. You have pipes. Congrats, caveman. Int. City core, the vault of minds. They enter a chamber the size of a football stadium except it floats. Platforms hover mid-air, connected by ribbons of glowing energy. Above, data streams fall like waterfalls made of symbols. Alien citizens move along the currents like it's just another Tuesday. Thalen, softly. This is our knowledge nexus. Every Zayden memory is stored here. Even the embarrassing ones. Elias, staring in awe. We keep ours in PDF format. Kalis steps onto a glassy pedestal. She touches it, and the air around them erupts into swirling math. Equations bloom like flowers. Some symbols look suspiciously like emojis. Elias blinks, overwhelmed but intrigued. Elias. You've mapped quantum foam, down to the Planck scale? That's insane. You could manipulate reality at the subatomic. Kalis, raising a brow. So the mud creature can think. Zyra, mock whisper to Thalen. He's using big words. Should we be concerned? But for the first time, Kalis's voice softens. Just a bit. Kalis, you recognize our framework. Curious. Perhaps you're not just decorative. Elias. Thank you. I studied theoretical physics, xenobiology, diplomacy, and also improv. Which is weirdly relevant right now. Virel, suddenly. Improv. Elias. It's like lying, but with friends. Zyra. I like this one. Int. Zayden Hover Gardens, later. The mood has shifted. The sun, are setting, casting the sky in blue-orange gradients. Strange plant orbs float around them, glowing gently and humming when touched. Elias walks beside Kalis, who's pretending not to be interested, but absolutely is. Kalis. What drives your kind? Power? Expansion? Elias. Mostly food. And validation. He shrugs, then points to a floating plant shaped like a glowing brain. Elias. We dream of knowing everything. We reach out into space not to conquer, but because we're lonely. And curious. Kalis pauses. For a moment, her posture softens. Kalis, quietly. That. I understand. A brief silence. Then Zyra ruins it. Zyra, off-screen, yelling. Hey. Elias. Wanna see how we party in low gravity? Virel, deadpan. Bring your weird nose. Narrator, sarcastic tone. And just like that, Dr. Elias Raynor went from mud creature to mildly intriguing science snack. The line between curiosity and chemistry? Turns out, it's thinner than a quantum filament, and twice as flammable. After surviving the sassiest welcome in interstellar history, Dr. Elias Raynor had a choice: retreat with dignity, or double down with awkward charm and science trivia. Naturally, he went with awkward charm. And so began a bizarre, glowing, low-gravity flirtation between one Earth man and four very blue, very judgmental alien women. Int. The alien city outskirts, sunset. The alien sky is in full drama mode, gold bleeding into teal, shadows shifting under triple sunlight. They walk toward the city. No gates. No guards. Just architecture that looks grown, not built tall crystal towers that sway slightly in the wind like they are breathing. Even the pavement ripples softly under their steps, like memory foam with feelings. Elias walks in the middle of the group, glancing around like a tourist who just realized the local wildlife might be sentient. Elias. Okay, so your city is alive. Virile, cool, flat. Semi-sentient. It self-heals. Learns. Sometimes sings. Zyra, grinning. And it hates country music. Elias chuckles nervously. His brain is trying to process the architecture, the atmosphere, and the fact that Kalis is still staring at him like he's a suspicious smoothie flavor. Int. Zayden knowledge chamber, moments later. They step into a massive, vaulted chamber. Floating discs drift overhead. Light streams pour down from the ceiling in vertical sheets, showing moving symbols, alien languages, and cat memes. Kalis gestures. One of the discs lowers and spins, projecting a swirl of multidimensional math in the air. Kalis, smirking. This is our understanding of your universe. Try not to get a headache. Elias stares. He recognizes some of it: quantum field symbols, dark matter projections, even something that looks like a modified Schrödinger equation, but written in fractal glyphs. Elias, quietly amazed. You've stabilized quantum foam? Manipulated it? That's impossible. Kalis, softly. Only if you're still using impossible. Beat. Elias. Okay, that was cool. That should be on a t-shirt. Zyra. You want merch now? You're not even housebroken yet. Elias grins. She's teasing him, but it's almost playful now. Int. City gardens, later that night. The sun's have set, and now the world glows from within. Bioluminescent plants light the path like fairy lights dipped in neon. Floating orbs drift overhead, trailing sparkles. Somewhere in the distance, a creature yodels. Loudly. And off-key. Elias and Kalis walk ahead of the others. Elias, after a long silence. So, what's the deal with your people and humans? Hostile curiosity? Or just a hobby? Kalis, you're unpredictable. Your history is a tapestry of brilliance and self-destruction. You chase stars but destroy oceans. Write poetry and invent nuclear bombs. Honestly, we couldn't decide if you were dangerous or just dumb. Elias laughs. I mean, fair. Kalis, studying him. But you showed up alone. Unarmed. Offering curiosity. That's rare. He pauses, sensing the tone shift. Elias. Where I come from, curiosity is how we survive. That and snacks. Kalis actually smiles small, but real. Behind them, Zyra and Thalon are messing with a floating vine. Zyra. Bet I can make it sing earth music. Thalon, monotone. Please do not. Int. Garden clearing, a few steps later. Elias and Kalis stop at a glowing bench, carved from one solid chunk of transparent stone, softly pulsing like it's alive and breathing. They sit. Silence. Kalis, softly. What do your people fear most? Elias. Extinction. Rejection. Running out of coffee. Kalis. We feared becoming stagnant. Predictable. Cold. Elias smiles. Guess we're all just trying not to fall apart, huh? Kalis tilts her head. The expression is alien, but somehow tender. Kalis. You're not what I expected, Earthling. Elias. You either. Honestly, I thought first contact would involve less sarcasm and more probing. She leans in slightly. Kalis, deadpan. Oh, the night is young. Elias chokes on his own breath. Cues Zyra from a distance. Zyra, shouting. If you kiss him, I'm filming it for science. Virel, monotone. You film everything. Narrator, smooth voice, with a chuckle. And just like that, Elias Raynor, a man with 2 master's degrees and 0 game, found himself one awkward step closer to what humans call romance, and what the Zayden Council probably calls questionable diplomacy. Either way, chemistry was definitely in the air. Literally. The plants were giving off pheromones again. Do you enjoy this story? Do you think their journey has only just begun, or is there so much more waiting for them out there? Leave your comment below. Galactic Conundrums always wants to hear your thoughts. Let's keep the story going. So far, Elias Raynor had been laughed at, poked, scanned, and emotionally roasted by blue-skinned alien supermodels. And somehow, things were going better than expected. But tonight, cultural exchange was about to go from theoretical to extremely practical. Int. Zayden Habitat Suite, Night. Elias steps into what the Zayden guide called a guest habitat. But this is no ordinary room. The walls glow with soft violet light, breathing in slow pulses like the whole place is alive. A floating table hovers in the center, holding bowls of translucent, jelly-like fruit, each one gently pulsing, like it has a heartbeat or an opinion. Zyra's voice pops up from the shadows. Zyra. Eat the pink one and you might start glowing. Eat the orange one, you'll probably float. The blue one? No promises. Elias, dryly. Cool. So dinner is also a science experiment. Virel, leaning in with a calm stare. Isn't everything? Int. Lounge area, later. The walls shift into shades of deep indigo. Elias is seated on a platform made of something between air and memory foam. Soft alien music plays in the background, part harp, part whale song. Kalis enters, calm and graceful, her silver hair catching the light like fiber optic threads. Kalis, you humans are unpredictable. You arrive alone, with no weapons, just stories. Curiosity. Most species lead with dominance. You lead with awkwardness. Elias smirks. We like to keep expectations low. It's worked so far. Kalis lifts a small glowing orb and holds it between them. Kalis. This is a memory node. It lets us share experience directly. Emotion, sensation, even memory. The orb floats toward Elias's chest. It touches him and suddenly, images flash in midair, bustling cities, forests, oceans, laughter, tears, fire, poetry, war, and cats. So many cats. Kalis watches, intrigued. Kalis, softly. Your world is chaos. Loud, passionate, clumsy chaos. But, honest. Elias. We try. I mean, we mess up constantly. But we try. She sits beside him now, close enough that he can smell her skin like ozone and lavender, or maybe starlight. Kalis. Tell me, Elias. What do humans really want from the stars? Elias, quietly. Not conquest. Not anymore. We're just lonely. We want to know we're not the only ones who feel this small. She's silent for a moment. Then she reaches for his hand. Her fingers are warm, smooth like living glass. Kalis. Then let's not feel small tonight. Int. Private chamber, later. Lights dim. Vines on the walls glow faintly, casting soft golden patterns across their skin. The air is warmer now, more humid. Alive. Kalis leans in, searching his eyes not for information, but for understanding. Kalis. You're not like the others. Elias laughs nervously. We don't have many intergalactic Casanovas back on Earth. She kisses him, curious at first. Then deeper. The room responds, walls pulse brighter, The music shifts key, even the furniture leans away respectfully. Somewhere outside. Zyra, watching through a floating orb. Yup. They're doing it. Told you. Virel. I still say it's reckless. Thalen. I say, it's about time. Int. Post-exchange, night still. Elias and Kalis lie side by side. He's wide-eyed, breathless. She's relaxed, practically glowing. Elias, still processing. Okay, that was like meditation meets roller coaster meets existential epiphany. Kalis, smiling faintly. You were surprisingly adaptable. Elias. Thanks. I think. She rolls over, facing him. Kalis. We've always studied distant worlds. But maybe it's time to feel them, too. Elias. For science. Kalis. Of course. They both laugh. Soft. Human. Alien. Real. Narrator, warm, amused. Cultural exchange. It's not always about flags and handshakes. Sometimes, it's about connection. Empathy. And maybe, just maybe, kissing your way through interstellar diplomacy. This night would be remembered by two people. And eventually, by two entire species. Do you enjoy this story? Do you think their journey has only just begun, or is there so much more waiting for them out there? Leave your comment below. Galactic Conundrums always wants to hear your thoughts. Let's keep the story going. It had been 8 days since Elias Raynor became the most culturally exchanged human in galactic history. Things had settled into a rhythm, science discussions by day, flirting with quantum foreplay by night. But just as Elias was starting to feel oddly comfortable, the universe decided to drop a bombshell. A biological one. Garden Dome, midday. Elias is alone, trying to teach a glowing caterpillar-looking alien pet how to high-five. He's bored, content, and a little smug. Elias, to himself. Diplomatic history in the making, and I'm babysitting a glowworm with attitude. Suddenly, the door slides open hard. Kalis enters, not calm, not graceful. Urgent. Her silver hair is a bit disheveled. Her breathing's quick. For the first time, she looks nervous. Kalis. We need to talk. Elias. Uh-oh. That's never good. Nobody ever says we need to talk and then offers cupcakes. She grabs his wrist, pulls him down the corridor with silent intensity. No words. Just you're in deep trouble energy. Int. Medical atrium, moments later. Thalen, Zyra, and Virel are already inside, standing around what looks like a floating crystal monitor. Their expressions range from stunned to bewildered. Zyra's tapping her fingers on the screen. Fallon is rubbing her temple like she has a migraine. Virel just stares straight at Elias like he sneezed in her smoothie. Elias. Okay, what did I do? Kalis, clearly trying to stay calm. You did something. Or more accurately, we all did. Zyra turns the monitor toward Elias. The display shows 4 holographic figures, glowing slightly, each one with a small, pulsing orb inside their abdomen. Elias, blinking. Okay, are those Virel embryos? Hybrid? Viable? Elias. Wait, what? Hybrid? Viable? As in, alive? As in, pregnant? Zyra, deadpan. Ding ding. You're officially a galactic baby daddy. Congrats. Fallon. Our scientists are stunned. They say cross-species reproduction was supposed to be impossible. Apparently, you're the exception. Elias sits down. Hard. Elias. No, this has to be a mistake. I mean, we didn't even, there wasn't even okay, yes there was. But you don't just accidentally invent a new species. Kalis, quietly. And yet, here we are. Int. Small chamber, a little later. The group sits in stunned silence. Nobody talks for a long moment. Then Zyra, of course, breaks it. Zyra. So, are we calling them Zuman? Himitan? Earthlings? Virel, dry. Zyra, please. Fallon, gently, to Elias. We don't blame you, Elias. This wasn't your intention. But now we have to decide what comes next. Elias, still dazed. I came here to talk about weather systems and microbial soil structure. I didn't think I'd be changing evolution. Kalis stands, paces. Kalis. This is bigger than us. If this goes public, the council will panic. Half the planet will want to study us. The other half will want to erase us. Zyra. So what do we do? Hide the glowing alien babies under a rug. Fallon. We need time. Secrecy. Safety. And Elias, we need you. This affects both our worlds now. Elias looks at each of them. These women who, a week ago, thought he was a joke. Now, they are trusting him with their future. Their lives. Their children. He exhales deeply, heart pounding. Elias, quiet but firm. Okay. I'm in. Whatever happens. I won't run. Kalis, smiling faintly. Good. Because running wouldn't help. We can track you by pheromonal imprint now. Elias, pause. Romantic. Narrator, slower, serious tone with warmth. Some first contact missions end with signatures and speeches. This one ended with 4 pregnancies, 1,000 questions, and the birth of a future nobody saw coming. And for Dr. Elias Raynor, the easy part was officially over. News travels fast on Zeta Prime, especially when it involves a human, 4 prominent alien women, and the universe's first interspecies pregnancy scandal. In under 48 hours, Elias Raynor went from curious pink visitor to walking headline. Int. Zetan High Council Hall, morning. The hall is vast, domed, echoey like a mix between a parliament building and a planetarium. Elias stands dead center, under a spotlight that's way too dramatic. Behind him are Kalis, Virel, Thalin, and Zyra, calm but clearly tense. Around them, rows of Zetan officials murmur, argue, stare. A chief counselor, a tall alien with glowing tattoos and a voice like thunder filtered through reverb, steps forward. Chief counselor. Human. Do you understand the gravity of what you've done? Elias, gulping. Technically, we did it. I mean, it was a group effort. The crowd erupts in whispers. Somewhere in the back, someone hisses. Zyra, to Virel, whispering. I told him not to joke here. Virel. He jokes under stress. It's either that or fainting. Elias, serious now. Look. No one planned this. We didn't even know our species were biologically compatible. But now that life exists, we have a responsibility. Thalin. They are not mistakes. They are the future. Suddenly, a loud voice cuts through. Religious zealot, off-screen. Blasphemy. A group of robed Zetan purifiers enter from the rear. Their leader is tall, angular, and has tentacles where eyebrows should be, unsettling, but oddly stylish. He points dramatically. Purifier leader. This human has polluted our bloodline. The prophecies warned us of this, of the seed of chaos. Zyra, mutters. Wow. That's dramatic. Even for us. Another group rises, this time, more scholarly types, wearing shimmering lab robes and carrying data tablets. Scientist leader. Nonsense. This is an evolutionary leap. A breakthrough beyond imagination. Suddenly, the entire hall descends into chaos, arguments erupt, tentacles point, data files fly, someone starts chanting, and someone else sells popcorn from a floating drone. Elias, to Kalis, whispering. Is this normal Zetan democracy? Kalis, grim. This is very civilized compared to last time we legalized double-headed poetry. Int. Side chamber, moments later. The council has declared a temporary recess. Elias and the women regroup, now in a quiet chamber that looks like a spa and a war room had a baby. Elias. Okay. This is escalating fast. Half of them want to dissect me. The other half wants to hand me a medal. I'm honestly not sure which is worse. Virel. They are afraid. You changed their story. You rewrote their rules. Fallon. And the unknown terrifies them. Kalis, firmly. Then it's time to make the unknown known. She turns to a console on the wall, types a sequence. A hologram of the embryos appears pulsing, glowing softly, beating like twin suns. Kalis. We present this. Publicly. Not just to the council. To the entire planet. Elias, startled. You want to broadcast this? Zyra. You got a better plan, Daddy Raynor? Elias. Not yet. But I'm starting to really miss just being laughed at. Int. Council Hall, later. The group returns. This time, with purpose. Kalis steps forward. The hologram of the unborn children hovers beside her, their light gentle and undeniable. Kalis, addressing the room. This is not a crime. This is life. New life. And no prophecy, no politics, no fear, will silence that truth. The hall goes still. The purifiers fume. The scientists beam. And in the center, Elias just tries not to pass out. In that moment, something shifted. Not just in the council, but across Zeta Prime. Because the future had a heartbeat. And the whole planet could hear it. Diplomatic missions aren't supposed to involve prison breaks. But then again, most diplomats don't accidentally father hybrid alien babies with 4 members of a high-ranking Zetan science caste. So here we are. Int. Zetan Security Compound, night. Elias and the 4 women are being held under what's politely called protective containment, but it's basically house arrest with extra lasers. The suite is nice, if you ignore the hovering security drones, bio-locked exits, and the armed guards outside the door that blink in binary when they are bored. Elias paces, rubbing his temples. Elias. Okay. So we're not exactly prisoners, but we're not exactly not prisoners either. Zyra, laying on the ceiling somehow. Depends how you define prison. If you can't leave, constantly watched, potentially executed, then yeah. Prison adjacent. Fallon, calm as ever. It's for our protection. Virel. It's for their comfort. They don't know what to do with us, so they are hiding us away. Elias. Cool, cool. So what's the plan? Stay here until the babies are born and hope the revolution skips this address. Kalis, firm. We run. Silence. Even Zyra drops from the ceiling. Int. Escape planning, later. Kalis opens a hidden compartment in the floor. Inside, a beacon scrambler, an old Zetan tactical map, and something that looks suspiciously like a foldable hover scooter. Zyra, grinning. You had a bug-out kit this whole time. Kalis. I'm a scientist. Not an idiot. Fallon. There's an abandoned research station in the mountains. Isolated. Shielded. Virel. And just inconvenient enough for no one to check first. Elias peers at the map. Elias. So we sneak out, steal a ride, fly through alien terrain at night while being chased by religious zealots, and hope we don't crash into a crater. Zyra, already packing snacks. Exactly. You're getting better at this. Int. Compound exit, late night. Zyra hacks the door with what looks like a chewing gum wrapper, a neural chip, and raw confidence. Zyra. Door will stay unlocked for 42 seconds. After that, auto-lock with neurostun. No pressure. They sprint down dark, curving corridors, dodging patrols, passing confused maintenance bots, and accidentally waking up a sleeping alien elephant squid. They don't talk about it. At the launch bay, they find a tiny, rusty hovercraft with one missing stabilizer, one working engine, and a dent that spells YOLO in Zayden. Elias. This is our getaway vehicle. Kalis. It has shielding, stealth, and the engine still hums. That's all we need. Zyra. Also, it's cute. Like a toaster with delusions of grandeur. They pile in. EXT Zayden Sky, night flight. The hovercraft sputters, rises unsteadily, and launches forward like a panicked platypus. Inside, they are bouncing around like luggage in turbulence. Elias, holding onto a glowing rail. Is this thing supposed to make that grinding meets screaming sound? Fallon, deadpan. Yes. That means it's working. Alarms go off behind them. Through the rear scanner, 3 purifier ships appear sleek, black, armed, and very fast. Virel. They are gaining. Zyra, to Kalis. Fly low. Through the canyon. They won't risk the rock formations. Kalis. Everyone hold on. The hovercraft dips hard, nearly scraping the cliffs. Lasers streak past them, lighting up the alien sky. One bolt hits the rear engine, a warning shot. Elias, gritting his teeth. Remind me to never skip cardio again. Int. Canyon, final push. The craft zigzags between jagged cliffs glowing faintly blue, skimming along narrow gaps like a racing pod from hell. Elias grabs random parts from the toolkit, manages to patch the stabilizer with what may or may not be a heated spoon. Kalis. How did you learn engineering? Elias. Minecraft. Also panic. They burst out of the canyon and suddenly, the mountains appear in the distance, wrapped in mist. Fallon. There. The station. We're close. but the purifiers are still behind them. Zyra looks to Elias. Zyra. You said you wanted to make history. Hope you're okay with crashing into it. She slams the turbo. The hovercraft jolts forward, engines shrieking, controls flickering, everyone screaming. They vanish into the clouds, headed straight for the old research station. In summary, 4 pregnant alien scientists, 1 confused Earth guy, a half-broken toaster ship, and an angry cult with lasers. What could possibly go wrong? Asterisk. They ran from fear, hid from judgment. But at some point, silence becomes heavier than truth. And when that moment comes, you speak. Not because you're ready, but because the world needs to hear it anyway. Abandoned Zayden Research Station, night. The station hums faintly as old systems awaken from decades of dust and stillness. The walls, once sleek and polished, now cracked and covered with tendrils of glowing moss, seem to breathe again, as if remembering what it once meant to serve knowledge. Zyra works silently at a console. No jokes this time. Her fingers move quickly, but her eyes are somber. Zyra, quietly. Comms are up. We're patched into global relay. 1 click, and the whole world's listening. She steps away. No one says a word. Kalis stands beside Elias. She reaches into her cloak and places a small, glowing orb in his palm. Kalis. Memory crystal. It will preserve every word you say tonight. Even if they burn the transmission tomorrow. This will remember. Elias looks at the orb for a long time. Then to the faces around him, the women who, weeks ago, saw him as a curiosity, and now trust him with everything. He walks to the broadcast pedestal. Global broadcast feed, night. The signal flares. Across Zeta Prime and mirrored back to Earth, screens come to life. A glowing, pulsing image. A man standing in shadow, light behind him. Alone. Calm. Tired. Human. Elias, quiet, steady. My name is Elias Raynor. I came here as a scientist. A diplomat. A visitor to your world. And now, I speak to you as something else entirely. A bridge. A father. A mistake, maybe. But a living one. The image widens. Behind him, faint silhouettes: Kalis, Virel, Thalon, Zyra. Silent. Present. Elias. I know what you've heard. That I crossed a line. That I disrupted balance. That I brought contamination, or chaos, or prophecy. I did not come here for that. I came here, because I believed we could understand each other. I still believe that. He pauses. A deep breath. Elias. What happened between us was not conquest. It was not strategy. It was recognition. The room around him darkens. Behind him now floats a holographic projection, 4 small glowing forms, each one pulsing softly, steadily. Not abstract. Not symbols. Unborn life. Elias. They are real. And they are not a threat. They are not a mistake. They are proof that something more is possible between us. Planet-wide reactions, montage. A group of young Zetans watch the stream in total silence. One of them begins to cry but doesn't look away. A priest clasps his pendant, but doesn't turn the screen off. On Earth, a team at a science observatory looks on, stunned. A woman at the back whispers, "It's true." Int. Broadcast room, continuing. Kalis steps forward. Her voice is lower than usual, no command, no grandeur. Just conviction. Kalis. I am Zetan. I was raised to believe that purity was strength. That the unknown was something to study, from a distance. But then I met a man who didn't flinch at difference. Who didn't seek power, but offered understanding. I gave him a question. Life answered. She steps back. Thalon speaks. Thalon. We are scientists. We mapped stars, measured atoms, defined the bounds of possibility. And now we must admit, we were wrong. Zyra, for once, serious. Zyra. Change is messy. It breaks things. That doesn't mean it's wrong. Virel, soft and steady. Virel. Fear has ruled us long enough. Broadcast concludes. Elias stands at the center once more. Elias. We're not asking for permission. We're not asking for forgiveness. We're offering truth. And if you let it in, it may just become something beautiful. He reaches out. Kalis takes his hand. Then Virel. Then Zyra, Thalon. A circle. United. And behind them, the image of the 4 unborn children glows a heartbeat, steady and hopeful. The signal echoed across the stars. Not loud. Not forced. But honest. And honesty, once heard, cannot be unheard. The message was sent. The truth no longer hidden. And somewhere, beneath twin moons and a sky slowly learning how to forgive, new life was ready to arrive. Int. Mountaintop Medical Sanctuary, night. The old research facility has been quietly transformed not into a fortress, but into a cradle. Soft light fills the chambers. Walls pulse with a calm, pale glow. The air smells of clean minerals and flowering moss. Kalis lies on a platform, surrounded by medics from both Earth and Zeta Prime working side by side, quietly, without tension. Elias stands at her side, clutching her hand. His eyes red, his expression caught somewhere between awe and total panic. Elias, muttering. Okay, deep breaths. She's giving birth to a half-human, half-Zayden miracle and I'm still wearing mismatched socks. Kalis smiles, even through the pain. Kalis, weak but steady. You're doing fine. Just don't faint. Again. Elias. That was one time. Int. Sanctuary, hours later. The room is quiet. In Kalis' arms lies a child, blue-tinted skin, tiny tendrils of silver hair, and unmistakably human eyes. She doesn't cry. She watches. Silent. Alert. Elias stares down at her, unable to speak. Kalis, softly. She sees you. He nods, overwhelmed. Elias. I've flown through wormholes. But nothing bends reality like this. Int. Main sanctuary chamber, shortly after. All 4 women now cradle their children. Each child unique, some more alien, some more human but all radiant. A small crowd gathers, scientists, elders, council members, and ordinary citizens. No protests. No weapons. Just wonder. Thalin stands first, her child in her arms. Thalin, to the room. We feared the unknown. And then it asked to be held. Virel. Let them not be symbols. Let them be children. And let them grow free of our fear. EXT ceremony platform, day. The next morning. A formal gathering. 2 flags flutter side by side, the emblem of Earth and the flowing crystal symbol of Zeta Prime. Elias steps up to the microphone. He clears his throat, glancing to Kalis beside him, holding their daughter. Elias, calm, reflective. I came here to make contact. I didn't know I'd fall in love. Or father a new chapter in our story. But maybe that's what exploration is. Not conquering space. But opening our hearts wide enough to let the unknown in. Balcony, night, later. The ceremony has ended. The crowds are gone. Elias and Kalis stand on a high balcony. Below them, a city once divided now glows in soft unity. Their daughter sleeps in Kalis' arms. Kalis. They offered me a seat on the new scientific council. Elias. Earth offered me a university position. Full funding. No probing. A pause. Kalis turns to him. But do you want to stay? Here. He hesitates. Then smiles. Elias. Why stay on one planet? When we can raise her among the stars. Kalis nods. Her smile is small. But her eyes shine like dawn. EXT space, final shot. As ship's leak, hybrid tech lifts off gently from the surface of Zeta Prime. On board, Elias, Kalis, their daughter, and the 3 other mothers with their children. No guards. No mission brief. just a course set to unknown. They didn't call it an escape, or a voyage, or even a mission. They simply called it a beginning. Cut to black. So now you know. A human and 4 alien women didn't just meet. They created life. They defied biology, culture, and even prophecy. They ran. They fought. They chose each other over fear. And somewhere, beneath alien stars, their children opened their eyes for the very first time. But what happens next? Can 2 worlds truly change for the sake of a new generation? Or will old fears return to silence what's only just begun? And Elias Raynor, will he remain a bridge between species? Or become a target of history too afraid to change? You decide. What would you do? Leave us a comment. Tell us what you think really comes next. And if you were in his shoes, would you stay on Zeta Prime? Return to Earth? Or take your family and disappear into the stars? We'll be watching. And maybe so will they. Until next time. This was Galactic Conundrums. Stay curious.